Welcome to January 2015's Coffee with Manitou session part 2. We start this video with Josh Tafoya explaining the importance of performing backups.
Now, that being said, there are some other things that it makes sense to do on a regular basis. And the first thing that I wanted to mention was backups. Now, every one of your systems should be backing up regularly. And depending on your role in your organization, you may or may not know, but it's worthwhile to ask once a year. How are the backups doing? How do we know, what are the details? So there's some things that I wanted to talk about with backups. Now, on this machine here, I've got Microsoft SQL Server has a maintenance plan for backups. And I could go in and show you all the back end for how the maintenance plan works. But it should have been done a long time ago during your implementation as far as setting up your backups. Your backups should be happening regularly. If you're UL, they should be happening at least nightly. There should also be a process if you're UL to get a copy off-site regularly. That's a requirement for the UL. But it's also a good common sense requirement. You should have a backup off-site regularly. Now, what this one is set to do is run every morning at 3 a.m. and then just run a complete full backup of the system, and then it'll also look to see if there's anything older than 4 days in the folder. So whomever it is that manages your backups, they're going to know the folder where those backups are stored. This is the backups on this machine, and this has got 2 backups from this morning because I didn't set up the scheduled task 3 days ago like I should. So therefore, we've only got the 2 from this morning. But it's going to give you something along the lines of the file name that we see here. So it's got Manitou backup, the date, and the time, essentially, and it's a BAK file. You should have a method for getting these off-site, whether it's copying them to a cloud drive, to an encrypted cloud drive, whether it's putting them on a disk for somebody to take off-site, what have you. But you should be getting those off-site regularly, because if you lose your central station, you want to be able to get back to at least this moment in time, which is what we can do with those backup files. Your IT staff, whomever it is that manages your backups, which I'm going to assume is your IT staff, should be able to confirm that they're running regularly, that there is a process to get a copy off-site regularly, and they shouldn't be stacking up. That you should only have 3 or 4 days worth of backups in here. If you have a whole year's worth of backups, that could be a problem in terms of drive space. So part of that whole backup process in Microsoft SQL Server is that you can set it to automatically clean up things that are beyond a certain age. In this case, like I said, I set one up that's an age of 4 days. So anything older than 4 days would automatically get deleted out of this folder. So just check with whomever it is that does your backups. Make sure that those things are happening, that they're happening regularly, that you're getting them off-site, and that they're not stacking up. Now, speaking of if backups were stacking up, one of the things that you want to be concerned with is drive space. And this is something, again, that if you check it regularly, once a year may be excessive, maybe it's twice a year, but you want to be able to look at your drive space and make sure that it's not overly full. So what I'm going to do to that end is I'm going to look just at what we see here by going to the computer icon in the Start menu. I've got the one hard drive here, that it's a 232 gig hard drive, and I see there's 102 gigs free, so it's less than half empty. It's more than half full. So, but that doesn't really tell me what's on there. One of the things that I've used from time to time is a program that I found on the internet, a freeware program, and Julie's going to share that link with you here in a minute or so. The application that I found, now I want to point out, we didn't write this program. Nobody in support is familiar with this program. So it's completely up to you guys to figure out how it works, and we don't support it, basically, is the thing that I wanted to point out. But the application that you can get from the link that Julie has is this application called Scanner. And it can scan your hard drives, including if you have multiple drives, and give you a graphical representation so you can see exactly where your space is being used up. So for example, if I mouse over this dark green section here, if I look up here where this arrow is, when I moused over that, it says that's the C Windows folder. Well, I'm not going to touch anything in the Windows folder, but it's taking up 42 gigabytes there of my hard drive. If I mouse over the next section, that's the users folder. Over the next section, that's program data. This one is program files. Now, that's 19 gigs is pretty big for program files. But if we expand that out further, we see that there's the distributor folder and the old folder inside the C program files x86, Bolt Technologies, Manitou. That 4 gigs is a lot for that folder called old, and we're going to look at that in a moment. But then we go over here to this blue section, and there's our database files, there's our backups, we've got some SQL Express stuff. I have a folder just called C Backups, and it's full of all different backups in here. So this gives you a graphical representation of what's taking up your hard drive space. Kind of a handy tool, but again, it's something I found on the internet one time. It's freeware, which means it's given away for free. There's not anything on the website about a commercial license or anything. But again, we don't support it. So keep that in mind.
This concludes part 2 of the Coffee with Manitou session from January 21st, 2015. Register for next month's Coffee with Manitou session at boldgroup.com and check out any upcoming videos on our YouTube page. For more information, contact your account manager today at sales@boldgroup.com.